You're listening to Tony Graham on Binjang 91.5, and it's time for Tech Talk with Matthew Dickinson. Good morning, Matthew.
Hey, good morning, Tony. Great to be chatting technology again. We're moving to December. Nice warm weather, isn't it, today?
Yeah, well, it's going to be very warm. And where's the year gone? I don't know, but it certainly has gone.
I'd like to have some technology solutions for you, Tony, to cool the weather down. But apart from air conditioning, I've got nothing else extra for you today. I'm sorry.
Yes, well, it's technology that's going to be the saviour of the world, let's face it. So, and getting down to that now, with the COVID crisis, there's a big problem, big shortage with seasonal workers. But there's technology on the horizon there to help solve these problems, particularly in the horticulture industry, where I have been spending most of my life and looking at amazing machinery and innovation. So what's going on there, Matthew? What's the latest with that?
Well, the solution is going to be brought to us by Clive, not Clive Palmer, but a fruit-picking robot, and he's been given the name of Clive. I'm not sure why the name of Clive, but it's basically an Australian company that's created this fruit-picking robot. They've got two of these that are going to be trialled down the Golden Valley. You have identified part of the issue there, that coronavirus has caused a dramatic shortage. Normally, you've got about 200,000 seasonal workers coming through Australia each year, but at the moment, we've got about 30 to 40,000 in Australia, so a huge shortage there. Some farmers are worried about fruit just being left on the trees and falling to the ground. So this robot, obviously perfect timing for it, basically moves along the row of trees and uses sensors and cameras that allows it to look at the fruit to see the colour of the fruit, how ripe it is, whether there's any blemishes on it, and after it looks at all that, makes a decision about whether or not that fruit can be picked, and then uses a vacuum to suck the fruit, the apple, the pear, the stone fruit, off the tree. And I was intrigued by actually how it was going to do this. And I looked at a little video of it, and it was quite soft in the way it did it. So it used suction to hold onto the fruit with enough surface area that it didn't bruise it, but still had enough traction on there, if you like, to pull it away from the actual tree. So quite clever, because you can imagine trying to wrap something around a piece of fruit like a hand of a human, and you can imagine the little bruise points that might be on there. So the suction one is obviously the solution they came up with. And so this is going to be trialled to see whether it's commercially viable. Obviously, if this works, there'll be more and more produced, an Australian company producing them, which is great to see. So it probably is an interesting idea about what will happen in the future when we have the restrictions lifted across the world from coronavirus, and when people want to come back into Australia again for seasonal work, and then suddenly there's a bunch of robots running around. So it's not all glory for robots, because there's some concerns about it, but at the moment we just need to get that fruit off those trees.
Yeah, well, that's quite interesting. I reckon the real Clive could probably do with a bit of fruit picking, but do his health a great deal of good, and I can recommend it because I've done a bit myself.
Good. I'll make no comment about Clive's health.
No, I'm sure he's quite okay. But anyway, the next question is, why is Apple in deep doggy doo-doos in Italy? Or was that deep water?
Deep water, I thought you might have gone for the deep water pun, and you've gone straight there, Tony. So they've actually just been fined 10 million euros by Italy for the equivalent of their ACCC, if you like, in Italy. It's called AGCM in Italy. But they've been fined 10 million euros for misleading claims. Now, this goes back, not related to the iPhone 12, goes back to the previous iPhones 11, X, XS, back to the 8, and they've been making claims about certain water-resistant conditions of the phone, and some of the claims with IP68 have been up to 4 metres water resistance for 30 minutes, which sounds pretty good. But what Apple have said in their fine print is that it works in the laboratory with pure water. I'm not sure how many people get pure water in their swimming pool or when they turn their tap on, for example, in the bathtub. So obviously in the real world, we don't have pure water. And it also, the other part that the Italian AGCM took some sort of exception to was the fact that they were talking about it being in, the warranty not covering any water damage. So here you've got a phone that's claimed to be 4 metres water resistant, up to 30 minutes. You go and put it under water, you have a problem with water, the phone fails, you take it in for warranty, sorry, water is not covered under warranty. So both those issues and the advertising that Apple was doing, showing people in the water, showing people splashing around, showing water going all over it, they said that was all misleading, and they thought that basically Apple have done the wrong thing with all this, so 10 million euros. Now, obviously, that is an absolute drop in the ocean. Sorry to keep going with the water puns here, but a drop in the ocean for Apple. But it basically says...
well done, Matthew.
It basically says that you can't just go and say whatever you like and have consumers accept that. There's got to be some repercussions if you're going to make some claims that maybe aren't as accurate as people would like them to be.
Yeah, at least I don't have a problem because I don't have anything Apple, and what's more, I don't have a dog either, so I don't have any doggy doo-doos to contend with. So I reckon I'm pretty right.
Well, it's interesting. All manufacturers are the same though too, Tony. All the water-resistant claims that all the manufacturers have made about their phones, IP67, IP68, it's all that pure water conditions rather than in the real world. Salt water in particular, take it out in the ocean, then you're probably asking for trouble.
Yes, well, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Anyway, the other interesting thing during the coronavirus is the effect on the economy, and everybody's really interested in finding out how is their investment portfolio, like super, for example, how's that been going and how's it being managed during the current period? And I guess it's just not now either, it's going forward with the world currently, not just, well, Australia's okay, but the world economy is not looking terribly good for the next 12 months. So what do you think there?
Yeah, it's interesting, and certainly people are making some investment decisions, and sometimes they're looking for better ways they can generate some profits. And unfortunately, that's led to a quadrupling of investment scams. So this isn't someone that gets a random phone call and falls for something. This is someone who's got money to invest. They're trying to work out the best place to put it. And there was a study out of the UK recently that talked about that quadrupling of scams. And so what they're doing, what scamsters or fraudsters are doing, is they're basically creating websites that look just like a professional fund manager's website. They put some product information out, they create some glossy brochures, some glossy documents, and then they go out there and ask for investors. And people looking around for investments are looking at these, they're thinking, well, this looks pretty good, it's getting a good return, look at these great testimonials here. And they found the number of scams went up from about 300. Now, this isn't individual people scammed. This is investment scams. So basically, organisations trying to scam went up from about 300 to 1,175. And they were promoting fake products. They had even comparison websites showing different investment portfolios and their returns they were getting, but that was all made up. It was all the information made up, making the investment, the fraudulent scams or fraudulent investments looking much better, so people went and looked for those ones. The cost of this, Tony, over the last year, £657 million in the UK alone. That's been a rise of 28%. So the real advice, I suppose, here is just be very careful, maybe even talk to some investment planners that you know, you can visit their office, you can walk in and see them face to face and look at some of those things. And I suppose research it before you go and put any of your money anywhere. And again, with all the issues that have been caused by coronavirus, some people are probably looking for better ways to invest their money, better returns, but be careful you don't lose the whole lot. Because these people that have invested, that 657 million pounds, that money that's been invested there is not money that they're going to get a poor return or maybe not get the returns promised. That's gone. That's basically been scammed from those people completely.
So the moral of the story really is to stick to the well-known entities when it comes to doing investment during this period. A lot of people keeping their money in the bank, of course.
Yeah.
Anyway, you've been listening to Matthew Dickinson and Tech Talk on Binjang 91.5. Stick around this afternoon for the afternoon session. And for now, it's back to all the great information and the great music, of course, on our radio station.
Great, Tony. Chat this afternoon.
Thanks, Matthew.